Hello everyone, my name is Landon and welcome back to another video. Today I'm going to be going over the top 5 most emotional Stephen King novels, or endings, let's say. So these are novels that I found tugged at the heartstrings a little bit, like the ones that really made you feel after the novel was over. And before we get into the video, I have a few honorable mentions on this list. These almost made it onto the list because these were very close. We have Bag of Bones and we have The Green Mile. Both of these were very emotional. The ending of this, where he digs up the grave and all that, and he saves the little girl, and The Green Mile, obviously, when he gets sent down the Green Mile. I forgot what his name was exactly, because I haven't read this book in so long. John Coffey, where he gets sent down the Green Mile, and then the prisoners are all crying. The movie did a really good job of capturing this. The TV series of this wasn't really as good. It didn't capture any of the emotional scenes in the TV series. But yeah, those are my two honorable mentions, The Green Mile and Bag of Bones. Let's put those back where they go. Alright, now, let's get down to the list itself. Oops, one fell. Coming in at the number 5 spot, we have Sleeping Beauties. If you guys saw my top 10 favorite Stephen King novels, this was actually number 6 on that list. I love Sleeping Beauties, and one of the main reasons I love it so much is the ending itself. The ending where Evie Black sends all the women back through the tree, and they all reunite with their families, and they make peace among each other, and even the animals start making peace among each other is amazing. And the epilogue where the cop, I can't remember her name, but the cop goes to the tree that they all went through, and she was trying to find a sign that Evie was there. She was calling out for Evie, trying to find a sign that she was there, and like she lifted up her hand or something like that, and a moth fluttered down onto her finger, and that signified that Evie was there because the moths, like the brown moths, were like the signification. Why can't I talk today? The signification of sleeping, the brown moths. So the brown moth fluttered down onto her finger because Evie was the person to make them all go into the sleep cycle, like in the cocoons and stuff. And her symbol was like a moth, and like when the moth floated down onto her finger, that showed that she was still there, that she still knew that they were there, and that made reassurance that she was there. Number 4, we have The Dead Zone. This was also in my top 10. I believe that this was number 9. The Dead Zone, the ending of this was definitely, I was almost crying. This was a very emotional ending. After Johnny Smith gives his life to save the world and to send the politician to where he should rightfully be, he takes his life, and before he takes his life, he writes notes to his ex-girlfriend who actually got married and his dad, explaining why he did it and what the powers that he had and how much he loved them, how much he will always care about them no matter where he is, no matter where they are. And when his ex-girlfriend visits his grave and she's standing there in front of his grave and the note is being read as well, it's just amazing. The note was definitely the saddest part of this book, and it was definitely very, very emotional. The note is actually really long. That's why it was so emotional. It was so long. And when she was at the cemetery visiting his grave, and she asked if Johnny, she called out Johnny's name, she got in her car and drove away. That was definitely a very emotional part, very emotional ending, and I loved every second of this book. It's in my top 10 favorites. At the number 3 spot, we have Firestarter. Firestarter, much like the Dead Zone, somebody gives their life. Well, not really. He didn't really give his life. But her father, Charlie's father, Andy, died protecting her. I think I can't remember exactly how it happened, but he died in gunfire. One of the people who kidnapped both of them, they were in crossfire, and he got shot. I think I can't remember exactly. But after his death, she went insane. She started killing everybody at the shop. She started burning everybody alive, burning down all the buildings, blowing all of them up. And the ending where she goes to the old people's house that they met, the old people adopt her, and she goes to the news, a news company, I think it was the New York Times or something like that, and she wanted to go in there and tell her story of her dad and her mom, and all the story that they went through and the journey that they went through and what happened to them and how sad and how emotional, how crazy it was, the powers that she has. And it was definitely emotional because she doesn't have her parents anymore. She's like, because Vicky, her dad or her mom, actually got killed before Andy and her went on the run. And when they got kidnapped and her father died, she went crazy, killed all of them. And at the end, when she wants to tell her story to the New York Times, was very emotional. It felt good in a sense. She finally was able to get it out because her father never let her tell the story of them, and it felt like, yeah, it felt good to read. At the number 2 spot, we have Insomnia. I got this book back from the friend who borrowed it, and if you guys saw my top 10, this is number 5 on that list, and I had to show a picture on my phone because I didn't have it, but I got it back yesterday, so that's good. What was emotional about Insomnia was obviously the ending where Ralph took his life to save the little girl, like the Dead Zone. He saved the little girl from the car crash. He knew it was going to happen because the 2 short people, the 2 little midgets that were in the other side, or like the other dimension, told him that you will know when your time has come, and he knew that like his life still had some like meaning to it. And like the insomnia faded away, like he didn't have insomnia anymore, but it started to come back unbeknownst to Lois, his wife, his new wife actually, and he began to have insomnia. He began seeing the things again. He was like, all right, it's almost my time. And they were walking into the park, and he saw the little girl run into the road, and he told Lois that now it's the time for me to go. And she didn't want him to go. Like she said to just like break the rules, just stay with me. And he said, like, I'll always be with you. And he ran out into the road. He pushed her out of the way, like, just in time. And he got hit by the car. And he actually was the one who ended up dying. Very emotional ending. One of my favorite parts about this book. Everything in this book, this 900-page book, was amazing. It was another one, like the Stand. Every sentence in this book had meaning. There was not a single sentence in this book that didn't have a meaning. And it was 900 pages long. I loved every second of Insomnia. The ending, very emotional, where he took his own life to save the girl. And that is that. And coming down to the number 1 spot, we have Cujo. This is actually, I'm not sure if it was in my top 5 or as an honorable mention in my top 5 scariest Stephen King novels. This novel was really terrifying for the one fact that this could actually happen in real life, besides a few scenes in the book, obviously. But this could happen in real life. A dog, a Saint Bernard, could get bit by a rabid bat and start running around terrorizing the town, killing people, and all of that. And that's not what's emotional about it. It is emotional that the dog actually dies in the end, but what's even more emotional is that Tad, the little boy that the mom was trying to protect, they were in the car, they were trapped in the car, Cujo was stalking them outside of the car, and he wouldn't let them leave. And he needed he had asthma, I'm pretty sure. He had breathing problems, and he needed his inhaler. I can't talk today. His inhaler, and he didn't get it in time. He hadn't had his inhaler for so long that he didn't get it in time. And when I think her name was Donna. Yeah, when Donna was fighting Cujo, she actually finally kills Cujo off, and they're safe to go outside. But it's too late. Tad is already passed out in the car. He's dying, and she takes him inside of the house that was there, and she performs CPR on him. But unfortunately, it doesn't work. And along with Cujo, Tad actually dies as well. And that is definitely the most emotional thing in Stephen King's series of books. The dog dies, like the well-natured dog, the town dog. Everybody knows Cujo gets bit by the bat. He goes rabid, and then Donna's forced to put him down. But along with Cujo being put down, her son Tad actually dies in the process as well, and that was very emotional. I like this ending, but the 1983 movie, I'm pretty sure, actually had Tad living. She did mouth-to-mouth with Tad, and he actually came back to life. He sprouted back to life. And I didn't like that. Like, don't change a Stephen King ending. If somebody dies, keep them dead. Like Children of the Corn. Like Cujo. What else was another one? They kept Firestarter in the Dead Zone. They didn't keep the dad or Johnny alive. There was another one that I was thinking of that they kept the characters alive when they didn't need to. Thinner. They kept Thinner. Like, instead of, like, him going into death and, like, accepting it, he gives the pie to somebody else, and it's, like, he's the evil one now. But, yeah. Either way, if you guys enjoyed this video, leave a like, subscribe, hit the bell icon if you're new. Leave comments down below what your top 5 emotional Stephen King novels are, endings are, and I'll see you guys in the next one.